Welcome this Sunday evening to the B&T Sports Talk Show with your boys T, and to my right, or to my right, right? To my right, left? I don't remember. Is
All
B
right, good.
with us on this
Gotta get
wonderful
it.
Sunday evening. And forgive me, folks, if my voice sounds a little raspy. I'm coming off of a cold, so if you hear me start to cough, I'll make sure to mute myself so I don't offend anybody. Just know that you can't catch a cold through the internet, so don't feel too bad. Um, so if this is your first time listening to us, please like,
Uh,
please subscribe. We appreciate it. We're excited about talking about all things NBA as the playoffs have kicked off. The play-in tournaments have ended. The real deal playoffs have actually started yesterday, and boy, were there some fireworks! A lot of great games, a lot of good matchups, a lot of we won't call them upsets because it's only the first game of the 7 game series for this
can
first
we
round.
can we call it good luck?
We'll call it good
Can,
luck.
can
Yeah,
we
we'll
can
call
we
it
call it that?
it's the first game, so you never know what's going to happen in that first game, especially with what's going on in the West. There's a lot of new faces that folks are not familiar with, a lot of new guys on new teams, so
Yeah.
it really isn't the same teams we saw during the majority of the season, to be honest with you. So it's definitely a toss up on a lot of these series, and we're going to talk about it. So B, how you doing,
What up,
man?
man?
What's going on?
Oh, man, I'm doing chill. Can't complain. Not mad. We'll talk about why I'm not
Yeah,
mad in a little bit, but
I I
uh,
was
you
sweating.
know,
I ain't gonna lie. I was some sweating going
trust me,
on.
my palms were sweating, knees deep, arms spaghetti. Just get my M&M in. But honestly, man, it's life's good. Can't complain, man. I'm just glad to be a part of the show. If
Absolutely.
anyone hasn't noticed, we got a new background, kind of flowing here. We look a lot clearer on both of our ends. So, don't forget if you guys want to check out some of our videos, it's on TikTok. How to get to our handles on the page here. So, come check us out if you haven't done so already on TikTok.
Perfect, perfect. Well, we're gonna start. We're
Yes,
gonna
sir.
jump right into it. As everyone knows, I am a big Lakers fan. B is a Warriors fan, if you can tell by the hat. And both of our teams this year are in the playoffs, which doesn't happen. Well, it's happened a couple of times, but
Yeah,
not that often. Uh,
exactly.
Especially with both teams being in a similar circumstance where the Warriors are the number 6 seed playing the number 3 seed, and my Lakers are playing the number 2 seed in the Memphis Grizzlies. So let's jump into it. We'll start with Saturday's game. The Warriors went into Sacramento. Sacramento has the ultimate buzz because they have not been in the playoffs for 16,000 years, and here they are. And it's been so long. Whole guys' careers have begun and ended since the Sacramento Kings have last played the playoffs. So that stadium was ready. So let's jump into it. Let's talk about it. B. Of course, the Warriors unfortunately walked away with a loss, but this was a tight and hotly contested game. It was I mean, it was a very impressive game to watch down the stretch. Steph
It
Curry
was.
and Fox were going back and forth with threes. Um, what would be from a Warriors fan perspective, man? How was that? What did you see in that game? How was it watching that game? Are you okay?
I'm fine.
All
I'm
right.
100% fine because it's only game one.
Right.
The Warriors lost game one of the NBA Finals, and
True that.
six
True
games
that.
later, or 5 games later, we all know how that turned out. This was the team we've been waiting to see all year.
Yeah.
The consistency was there. Um, for Andrew Wiggins to play the way he did after missing 2.5 months of basketball,
Amazing.
and for
Yeah.
him to even get the last shot, you know what I'm saying, is impressive. But just overall, his defensive presence was very big back on the court there. Um, the overall balance of scoring though was there. Curry got what he was going to get. I don't know how some of these shots that Curry gets, there's no foul calls being
Yeah. There
called.
was one on Wiggins too when he shot the three and he got hit on
Yeah.
the arm. Yeah. Oh, a couple.
It's mind blowing. You mean to tell me Malik Monk, a journeyman in this league, shot 14 free throws compared to Curry's two free throws? And Curry was he was getting to the basket quite a bit. And you mean to tell me there's been zero contact? And that's why Curry doesn't get the superstar treatment. You don't see it coming from his end there.
Yeah, man. Well, I saw JJ's in the chat, and we're gonna talk about the Lakers later. But B, I'm gonna tell you exactly why it happened. The Sacramento Kings have been holding on to the fact that the Lakers, quote unquote, cheated them out of the opportunity of playing in the finals back in
Oh,
the early 2000s. So I'm pretty sure that team and the refs in that building, they are looking for revenge. That's why
who knows?
you
Who
guys are getting
knows
the
what
bitter
it
end of the
was,
stick
man?
on
But
all the
just
calls, man.
the free throw disparity was just awful,
Man.
man. Now, I'll tell you this: I think the first quarter you saw a frantic pace, and that was probably to be expected with a young Sacramento King team. That again, it's been 17 years, and I wish it was longer, but unfortunately, it's not. But you could see those jitters in that first
Yeah,
quarter, and I think
yeah.
the Warriors really fed off the energy of Golden One credit. The
It's
arena
credit union
because
team, yeah,
I'm not gonna
absolutely.
lie that was a pretty raucous crowd and for many reasons why,
Yeah,
but I think they really fed into that. Both teams didn't really get into a rhythm until after the first quarter, and that's to be expected in a playoff series, especially one that's magnetized to California, one Northern California team, other bumfuck California team in the middle of nowhere. You know, this is the first time in 17 years people in Sacramento will not claim they're from the Bay Area because they don't want
oh
to
my
say it. So,
god!
I'm just
Wow,
I'm just gonna keep it like that.
wow.
But um, I liked what I saw from my team because that's a consistency that you can live with. That's gonna win you ball games. Um, it's one game. They
Yeah,
got what they wanted. They got the one game win. I'm glad they got to light the beam because the fans look like those fly traps that are like that light up and all the bugs just go
yeah.
towards
I
it and
got
get
you. Yeah.
zapped. That's what all Sacramento fans are. When they see that beam light up, they're like,
well,
"Oh, the light!" And then you'll get zapped by it, man. So
I understand exactly where you're coming from. B, this was such a close game that really it was one make or miss that decided the end, which was Wiggins' 3-point shot in the corner. So I think looking at this as a whole 7 game series, the Warriors have everything to be hopeful for because they didn't play their best game. I really felt like the crew that came in when Steph Curry came off the court was atrocious.
oh
I
god,
didn't. I Kaminga kind of looked like he didn't belong in the game at all. Um, Jordan Poole had a few moments. He actually hit some good shots, but he also had some of those weird turnovers where he's driving to the hoop and the ball just
oh my,
it
it's ricocheting
exploded. The
off his
ball
knee,
just
man. It's
goes
like,
somewhere and
dude, how is he? I'm glad he wasn't on the court for those final 2 minutes. He's earned the right, but dude, had he not turned the ball over as much as he did earlier in the game, I think you would have seen him on the court. But
yeah, and
the,
they had
Kerr likes to get that last shot in the first quarter. He kicked it into the first row.
yeah,
You can't have empty possessions, especially in the playoffs. Especially when you have the last possession too.
yeah.
Can't go empty-handed. You got to get a shot off.
He was a little lost on defense a couple of times. There were a couple of times where he sprinted out for the double team and kind of was caught out of position on De'Aaron Fox. But I'm not gonna beat up on Poole too bad. I think that group collectively has to play a little bit better so that when Steph
Yeah,
Curry comes out of the game, they don't just give the entire lead back. If they can find a way to hold water, then I think they have a great opportunity to win this next game. Again, that game was so close that there isn't anything I saw in that game where I thought, oh man, the Warriors are in trouble. They can't beat these guys. It
yeah.
took a Herculean effort from De'Aaron Fox down the stretch because if it hadn't been for those threes he was hitting, Greg was hitting everything. He caught one where it looked like he was standing on the corner of the court and still knocked
It,
down the three.
the one that Clay Thompson got trapped underneath the baseline and just whipped it over to him,
Yeah,
and but that's a shot that Curry could hit with his eyes closed. That's that rhythm that he's got.
yeah,
Um,
he was killing
but
them.
when you talk about Hercules' efforts, let's really talk about what the Kings had to do to get this victory here. I'm gonna start with Malik Monk, who regular season wise, couldn't even break 16 points a game. In fact, he averaged 13 and a half a game, right? He hit a 30 mark. He doubled his average
Yeah.
in one game. Do you think he can sustain that over a 7 game series?
No, I don't think Malik Monk can sustain that. Now, the only issue I have is Clay does not have any business out there guarding those guys, and I think that's really what got him going. Was Clay is out there trying to guard Malik Monk in some cases on an island, and Monk was able to get downhill fairly easily and get right to the rim, and that really hurt the
Yeah.
Lakers excuse me, hurt the
Not
Warriors.
the
Not the
Lakers.
Lake didn't hurt us. We're fine. Hurt the Warriors in the paint. So on one end, I'm going to say yes, you're right. Malik Monk is not going to average 30 points a game, but he's capable, and he's not a guy that you want to get going. I mean, he's got that Lance Stevenson effect where the guy, well, he's not that bad, but he's very
Come on, man.
he's very streaky. He's streaky,
He
but
is.
if he can get going, he could be a problem. So I think the Warriors do need to see that, especially if he's going to anchor a second unit for the Sacramento Kings. They got to make sure that they put that guy in his place because he's the only guy on that second unit that can really hurt them.
I don't think Gary Payton even really did a good job defensively when he had Malik Monk.
Yeah.
Um, but
I
then
mean,
again,
yeah.
a lot of the Warriors didn't really play a good amount of defense for the
No,
most part.
they didn't.
To say the least. And the other guy who probably won't have a game like he had on Saturday is Trey Lyles. Trey Lyles averaged 7.6 points a game. You know what I'm saying? He was a
By the way,
terrible,
a guy who
terrible 3-point
a
shooter.
guy who could have got a lot more fouls called on him. He was in there in the paint throwing guys.
Oh my God!
I mean, the man was he was elbowing guys and pushing them, and I was like, okay, I guess that's how we're gonna play.
I don't know if I was watching a UFC fight or
He was
rugby
just
every time Trey Lyles was in
elbowing. I'm like,
But
wow.
dude, he's 6 for 8 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3-point land. He's not having these kind of numbers again.
Right,
It,
yeah.
it took it. That's how monumental an effort it was. But a lot of people who don't talk about it is they're not giving Kevon Looney or Draymond Green the effort that they put forward to make sure Sabonis did not get going
Yeah.
inside the paint there.
Sabonis looked awful. I mean, he looked terrible.
They forced him. They forced him to have to take those jump shots. They gave him the Russell Westbrook treatment. Was like, look, you're not gonna nothing easy in the paint, but you're gonna if you want to beat us, you better have a jump shot. And that jump shot is about as ugly as a pickup game.
Yeah, every time he got in the post, he was either getting blocked or leaving it on the front of the rim. I mean, it was a tough game for that guy, and he's one of the better players on that team for folks who do not watch the Kings. This is one of those bizarre world games like we talked about where a lot of things had to go right in order for Sacramento to win the game. I'm not saying that Sacramento can't put up a better effort, but we know the Warriors also can play the same game they did this time and probably still win the next game. So
yeah, and you didn't see any kind of unnecessary kind of urgency. They stay calm through everything.
Yeah,
they know what kind of environment it is. They know what this is going to take. One game does not determine the series.
Right.
Sacramento's probably still partying. Here comes the game 2 hangover. Because you didn't win the series after yesterday. You still got to get 3 more. And you still need to come to San Francisco where the Warriors are almost unbeatable.
Right,
and
exactly.
So all the Warriors got to find a way is to steal one. And that's it. And get that one on the road.
And get some consistent defensive pressure. They need to be able to put one stop after another stop after another stop. That is what the Warriors are built on. The Warriors are built on getting stops, rebounding, and getting into your fast break. And they just weren't capable. Even you talked about that frantic first quarter. In a normal circumstance, that is ideal for the Warriors. However, they weren't able to really take advantage of it this time out. But they have to kick it up on the defensive end. Get Looney a couple more minutes, especially if Sabonis is on the floor. Keep Draymond out there, and you've got to find y'all got to have either GP2, Wiggins. Somebody has to step up and make sure that you can stop guys like Malik Monk from going out, because you can live with De'Aaron Fox going for 38, But
You have to live with that.
you can't live with Malik Monk going for 32. You got to be able to, when a guy's getting hot like that, somebody's got to step up, take on the responsibility, and really help not shut them down, but make it difficult for them to score.
Christian Feder jumps in with, first of all, Christian, what's going on? Hope you enjoying your Sunday, man. Hope you guys had a good softball doubleheader across the way from us. But he chimes in with refs were letting them play until the last 5 minutes and started calling fouls on every drive for sack. Not saying they weren't fouls, but they weren't the first 43 minutes of the game.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, it did feel like the refs slowed it down after a while because it was a lot of up and down for the most part of the game. And in all honesty, in that case, dude, a lot of the fouls that were called, dude, I hate the crash and the pass and crash. I hate that so much. That should not be an offensive foul. That's not the offensive player's fault that he is passing the ball and still moving forward whilst a defender's just standing there. That's a blocking foul if I've seen one. That's not an offensive foul.
Yeah,
he's getting underneath him. I hate it with a passion, but unfortunately, that's the name of the game in the NBA nowadays. But,
honestly, I think they should remove the charge from the NBA game entirely. 100%. Yeah, it's not a real part of the game.
It's a cheap way to get a foul.
Exactly, it's a fluke. It's a fluke way to get a foul. Absolutely.
And if you sell it good enough, it's an offensive foul, But that's the NBA though. It's the way it's changed. But dude, I'm really looking forward to the rest of this series, man. I think the entire West in general is going to have nothing but good series. But this was. No league got higher than 12, and that was the Warriors. Everything else stayed within single digits and within 1 or 2 possessions. You can't ask for a better series than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I said the B team has to step up. The B team has to at least hold water and not give the lead back. So I mean, going forward, I don't know if you feel like either any. We didn't get a chance to talk about the series beforehand, but let's talk about just maybe a couple of things that you feel that the Warriors need to do a little bit better in order to win this series, though. They didn't play a terrible game 1, but there are some improvements I think maybe they can make. So what do you think? What do you got?
I think the biggest thing for the Warriors is to get to the hoop. I know we are a 3-point happy team, but Sacramento was opening all sorts of lanes to get to the hoop there. And the Warriors just didn't capitalize on it there. And that's why you saw such a big free throw discrepancy, is because they chose not to get to the hoop. I think my X factor is DiVincenzo because of the effort that he puts forward. But X factor B, I'm looking at Jonathan Kuminga, because I don't see anyone on that Sacramento roster that's going to be able to kind of hold their own against him. In that you're going to get your consistency from Klay Thompson, from Jordan Poole, from Curry. That's your big 3 scoring wise. Anything we get from Andrew Wiggins, 17 points. I was expecting no more than 8 from the guy, to be honest with you. And his defensive presence was very big in that game. But I think my two X factors for this series will be Kuminga and DiVincenzo, and that's because of what the two can be, because they're not expecting DiVincenzo to shoot a lot of threes. So when he's open, he's got to capitalize, which he did. But he can also get to the hoop. So the Warriors need to take advantage of that and start getting to the hoop to keep this game out of reach, because then that inside-out game will start taking effect, and you see a lot more guys open beyond the 3-point line. So that for me, that's big for them.
All right. Well, and I think I mentioned it earlier. I think the Warriors have a great opportunity to win the next game. All they got to do is somehow find a way to play better defense and string together stops. And then the other thing is the secondary team that comes in whenever Steph goes out has to do a little bit better offensively because they really gave up a pretty good lead when he went out of the game. And I felt like there was an opportunity. The old school Warriors, generally when that happens, Steph sits down with a 10-point lead. If you remember, they used to run that thing up to 15, 16, 20. They just don't have the vets to really hold down that second squad. And so that's why they're kind of missing some opportunities here. So we'll see if they can improve on that.
But and not only that too, but at least just Curry had to come into the game with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
He
Yeah, he
generally
had
doesn't
to.
enter until 7 or 6.
Yeah.
But that game was starting to get a little out of reach, so he had to come in. But that's where that second unit, like you said, needs to come in and step up so he can get that little additional rest there. And
Right.
so, but I'm not mad. Like I said, I'm not mad at this
Well,
at
let's
all.
let's get caught up on the chat here. We got Christian chiming in with way 2-3 happy in the closing minutes. I'm assuming we're talking about the Warriors. Even the last
Yeah.
possession down one with seconds left, you can get a better shot than the corner three. I absolutely agree. I don't know why whenever you have a 3-on-2 advantage that you don't have guys going to the rim. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. One guy goes way out to the 3-point line. Honestly, Clay standing under the rim, so I'm not sure what he was doing. All he had to do was pump fake and maybe drop the ball in the hoop or something. But the NBA with these 3-on-2 breaks where one guy floats to the corner. I don't know if anybody knows basketball, but the idea is to have two guys running along the two baselines with a guy in the middle holding the ball, and you make the pass
Yep.
early or you make it after the defender commits to one of the other defenders commit to you so you can hit the open guy. And instead, it's like, I'm just going to keep running right up under the hoop, turn and fire it to the corner for somebody to knock down the three. They were only down 1 point. Absolutely, Christian. I agree with you 100%.
But unfortunately, the problem is that's what
That's what they do.
that's
Yeah.
what the NBA is.
Yeah, you're right.
It's what the NBA is. Are these things here? But you know, that's a team that likes to shoot the three, and as much as we love it, it's gonna kill us if it doesn't start going down,
Live and
and
die.
it hurt us in this game.
Live and die. Well,
But Andrew Wiggins had a clear shot. Like, you cannot get mad at that three he took. You can't be any more wide open.
yeah, no, I can't be mad at it, but I'm sorry. Like, when you have a for sure two and you're banking on a guy making a three, I don't know if that's what I want to see from my team. You
Yeah.
know, and let's. Well, you got any more thoughts before I transition into having a jolly Laker party? Go ahead. You got anything else you want to jump
No,
in there?
hey, we didn't get a chance about E40 getting kicked out
Yeah.
of the game.
So there are two well, yeah. So E40 apparently says something to a Sacramento fan and gets them kicked out, and
He got him kicked out.
gets him kicked out. So the fan was heckling him. He makes a response, and then he gets kicked out of the game. One, I mean, I would hope that Sacramento knows who E40 is. I know he was in hostile territory, but I really think we ought to have some respect for one of the great forefathers of the Bay Area rap movement. But I guess Sacramento didn't get that memo. They don't give a crap.
And Sacramento people want to call they claim the Bay Area. If y'all was from the Bay
They had no
Area,
idea who that was.
you would have never done this. And
Oh,
JJ's
man.
right. They did Uncle Earl dirty.
Yeah.
Dude, we never got a chance to touch on Anthony Rendon, the guy who tried to pull the A's fan onto the field and beat his
Yeah,
ass.
we did talk about that.
He got suspended.
Oh, you got well.
And nothing happened to the fan. And in this case, I guarantee you, because Sacramento's been out of the playoffs for so long, nothing's happening. Dude, at some point, I still believe celebrities and players are going to turn into normal people and beat up a fan. We're going to have a Malice in the Palace all over again.
Yeah, they got to
because
be
at
careful,
some
man.
point, enough is enough.
Right.
That say something, dude. I'm not going to let somebody talk down to me, and E40 is the one that is supposed to not say anything.
Right.
The man was born and raised in the Bay.
50 Cent was at that. 50 Cent was at that game too, by the way. For folks are wondering.
Exactly. Nobody talked.
Oh no. No,
nobody talked to him that way.
I mean, everybody knows he was shot 9 times, so I don't think anybody trying to play that game.
But
that's funny.
Fans, look, root for your team. Do what you want to do. That's fine. You got to understand, when you start crossing a border, you're going to end up in territory that you don't belong in. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna
Exactly.
end up on TMZ getting punched by a celebrity, and
Absolutely.
I'll welcome it 100%. I
Yeah.
don't care what anyone else says.
Hey, you know what? We're all just people. Anytime you run up on somebody, you liable to get a reaction. So that's about it. Well,
But
JJ, the time has come. It's time to talk about the team that does not have trouble scoring in the paint, can't get to the free throw line, and got a game one
yo,
upset
you really want
against
to
two.
take shots like that, huh?
Dude, wait, come on. Of course, we won. What do you want me to say?
Oh man.
You should be happy for us, B. We beat the terrible Memphis Grizzlies who talk so much trash. Who,
Look,
somehow Jaws' shooting hand, pun intended, was injured during the game. But that doesn't matter because the Lakers were handling business before he got hurt. So I want to jump into this by first starting off with the fact that the Lakers did a couple of things defensively to change what Memphis wanted to do. I don't. I'm sure everyone has seen Ja Morant play, but his whole game is predicated off of getting 2 feet in the paint. That's his deal. He needs a running start. If he gets 2 feet in the paint, he can knock down a little jumper. He can jump out of the gym over your head and dunk the ball. The Vanderbilt, who we just picked up in the trade, mind you. Vanderbilt guarded Ja Morant for most of the entire game. Did an incredible job guarding him from full court. Picked him up full court. He never got a chance to get a running start. They did a good job of walling him off and forcing other guys to make plays. And in a one-on-one circumstance, was able to keep the guy in front of him. So I think that's number one. And this is what we talked about with the Warriors. You have to have one guy that's willing to go out there and put pressure on the best offensive player on the other team, and that's what we got out of Vanderbilt today. Another thing was they had to figure. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. The Grizzlies don't have any height, man. They were out there playing with, JJJ and Tillman, who are the two tallest guys, and
Yeah.
after that it was pretty much nothing. I mean, Anthony Davis was getting every offensive rebound he wanted to in the first half of the game. And although he didn't have the greatest, points, he didn't have the greatest game, was definitely a force to be reckoned with on the interior. And there wasn't much that I don't think Memphis could do beyond that. The Lakers made a decision that Ja Morant was not going to have a good game and force other guys to make plays. And I think that's kind of what it ended up being. They didn't have enough guys on the offensive end to make plays to win.
No, the Lakers height was a big advantage to them.
Oh yeah.
You can't ask. They got lucky. The Lakers had again two athletes who went beyond their average scoring points that you want to ask for that are gonna sustain it. Austin Reeves
No, that's
was a
that's Austin Reeves' average, bro.
woo.
That's his average. He had 23. He was scoring a little bit over 20 the remainder of the season, man. He's that guy.
What Austin Reeves did for those three possessions,
Yeah.
you expect from LeBron James, and you did not get it from him,
No, you
but
didn't.
you got it from Austin Reeves, who just happened to be mic'd up in this game, is running down the court yelling, "I am him."
Yeah, right.
But what you saw, we talked about it during the playing game, was the Lakers were very lethargic in that game.
Yes.
You saw the sense of urgency from the Lakers to go out and get this game. You have to follow your leader. They followed LeBron's energy. They followed his intensity, and you saw it.
Hachimura, man.
Hachimura again. Hachimura also had a
A
really, really solid game.
quiet 29.
Like no one talked about it because of Austin Reeves.
Right. I don't even know
Nobody
why.
was gonna
He had
bring
more
it up.
points than Austin Reeves.
But that's what you need from a backup. It took a lot of pressure off of the scoring from LeBron James because he got that additional help, and that's what LeBron has always needed on his championship teams. Was he needs additional support. AD once again got hurt back comes back in the game and survives that.
Yeah.
So you know, but my thing is I'm gonna ask you this, T. Can Austin Reeves and Huchihari um, this on in a potential 7 game series?
Yeah, and here's the thing, they don't have to. That's what's so great about how this team has played going down the stretch. If you look down the scoring chart, everybody's in the 20. The leading scorer on our team was Rui Hachimura on a team that has LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So it's really not a question of can these guys average it. It's a question of can Memphis contain LeBron and AD for the rest of the series? Because those guys have not played their best game yet. LeBron had a crap game. Let's be honest. I know you talked about them following his energy. His energy was walking energy. I'm just gonna put it out there. He everybody else was running the 3-point shooters, and his energy on the defensive end, outside of 2 blocks that he got on fast breaks, which is what LeBron does, was a little bit lackluster. He had a lot of really bad miscues with turnovers where he's just turning the ball over one pass away. It just really wasn't a great game for LeBron, to be quite honest with you. And Anthony Davis had 22 points, 12 rebounds, but didn't he had a really good start, but he didn't dominate the way folks thought he should have in order to win this series. So I think as a team they can come in and expect more from their stars and less from their B team, and I think that's what makes this
Yeah.
team special. Is even though those guys combined for 43 points, well, guess what? Reeves had 23. Russell had 19. Hachimura had 29.
We didn't even talk about D'Angelo Russell's 19.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. I mean the guy shot. He knocked down a couple of really big threes. He looked a lot more under control than the game against Minnesota, where he looked like just terrible. And Hachimura, as you mentioned, is a height problem now for the Grizzlies. They don't have a guy that can match up, and I can't tell you, how wonderful it was watching Ja Morant make faces, play his air guitar, and do all this after making 2 threes, and then turn around on the third one and shoot an air ball, and then from there, and then from there, the game was over because the Lakers as a team at least understood that we'll let Ja shoot. Even if he hits a couple of threes, no problem. But Ja could not get points in the paint, and that's what changed the game.
Let's get a little caught up in the chat, and I've got then a few more questions for you. JJ, it's Dylan Brooks is a punk. I mean, we all know
Yeah.
that, but for some reason, he was pretty
quiet
damn quiet today. JJ follows with Austin Reeves is him. Look, the fact that he was yelling that after the three had me that had me chuckling, so I'll give him that. Christian Feder follows up with, as much as I hate the Lakers, I might love seeing the Grizzlies lose a little bit more. I think we all do. I think that's just a team that no one likes and is happy when things happen to them. I'm not happy John Morant got hurt, but let's be real. Nobody wants to see this team succeed. Outside of Memphis, there is zero tolerance for this team to see them move forward here. And then our wonderful
Drunk, what's up?
guy, Drunk, hope you're having a great weekend, man. Mr. Glass, a.k.a. AD, not going to make it through the series. And he has the Grizzlies in 6, pulling it off. So speaking to that, T, because Drunk gets us right into it, what is your prediction for the rest of this series here? And what are the keys for the Lakers to really win this series?
So I think the Lakers will win in 6 games. The key to the Lakers continue to be successful are continuing to have that defensive mentality that they had in this game, to continue to keep John Morant out the paint if he continues to play. But the defensive intensity that they turned up on the Grizzlies, who is one of the better defensive teams in the league, is what comes down. I mean, you saw the play where Desmond Bane pulls up for a 3 and gets blocked from behind by Austin Reeves. I mean, guys are making second, third, and fourth efforts. LeBron and AD pretty much became rebounders through the fourth quarter, and these are the guys you want to score. The Lakers have a lot of talent that capable scoring two-way talent, with Austin Reeves And although Russell can't play a lot of defense, he's a guy that you can't just leave alone. And I think that's what makes them special. Versus the Grizzlies, they're very dependent upon JJJ, who's not a guard, and they're also very dependent upon Ja Morant. Those
So
those are their guys. So the X factor. So really, all what the Lakers need to do continue is continue with the defensive intensity and continue to pound the interior. That's it. If they can do that, they can get it done.
and we got a lot of predictions coming in here. I like that there. Geez, I gotta have a pen on deck, man. I never do. But I'm gonna take the Lakers in five. Honestly, with losing Ja Morant today, and that hand, his trigger hand, not being the best thing in the world, you know, where is this scoring gonna come from? Because they don't have a balanced score on that roster outside of Ja Morant. Like when you look at that team, who is the second best player
Yeah,
Grizzlies outside of Ja Morant?
yeah, it's
Ask yourself that.
yeah,
You're looking at Triple J to be your best guy, and literally, he had problems against AD during the game.
yeah,
That's what's going to hold them back from even moving forward is finding that Batman to Robin connection there. And once John Morant's out, that scoring's got to come. Desmond Bain, it has to be that guy, but unfortunately, he's not that guy.
yeah.
So I don't see it being there for him. And then get a little caught up here. Drunk says, "What's up, fellas?" Christian is going with the Lakers in six, far more mature than the Grizz. The Grizz have been around together, I would say that, but that veteran experience, because this is Rui's first time in some big time playoff.
Austin
moments.
Reeves too.
Austin Reeves, who's the other guy?
Yeah, well, you got D'Angelo Russell who has experience, but then you got Jared Vanderbilt who you're literally just telling to play defense and don't do anything
That's
else.
all you're asking him to do.
Yeah. So just to get caught up while B finds a pen or Sharpie, whatever he's looking for. Drunk chimes in with AD looks so much better than Karen Jackson. It has been insane. AD is key. Oh man, I'm just glad you didn't call him Janet Jackson. But anyway, let's move on to JJ. We gotta attack JJJ and get him in foul trouble early. Absolutely, they got to keep turning up they got to stay in the paint all day. And then Christian chimes in with Grizzlies rely on clutch individual performances. The maturity and experience of the Lakers should overcome that. So, and then Drunk with Tyus Jones is still the second best point guard in this series after Ja. Absolutely, I think Tyus Jones is a great, very very good, and is a starting level point guard. The point is, can you expect him to go for 20 points a game? You know, he's gonna have to pick.
He's gonna need to score.
Yeah,
almost
he's gonna have to bring it way up because Ja. Although we can talk as much mess as we want about Ja, when that guy gets going, he's the guy that can put up 20 points in a quarter, and there isn't anybody else on the team that can really do that.
Not at all there. You know who should be going to the Memphis game is 50 Cent. At least him and Ja got guns in common. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I went there.
Yeah.
You know, and shout, hey, dude, we just caught 2 more subscribers here during
Appreciate
the live. So we appreciate the 2 additional viewers. Thank you so much for supporting the channel here.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Do I got any more Laker talk here for you?
Well, I think. What you got for me?
I mean,
what are you gonna talk to me about?
What's your prediction for the rest of the Warriors Sac series? Who's gonna win that? I didn't get a chance to.
I got the Warriors. The Warriors in 7.
Warriors in 7.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna put you down for Warriors in 7. I got the Warriors in 6. We both agree. The Lakers. You have the Lakers in 6. The Lakers in 5. Man, they'll get 1 win, and that's about it. After that, for the Grizzlies, I think they'll get 1 off the Lakers.
Yeah, as long as Lakers don't fall asleep, just because Ja's not in the game, they can't fall asleep. So that's all they got to do.
I agree. But let's pivot to. Do we have anything else in the chat before we get forward? Oh, Uncle Andre Paris, welcome in.
What's up?
Let's go around the rest of the NBA playoffs because there was a lot of good games. And the biggest one I think that we saw, the Bucks and the Heat just ended not too long ago, and the Heat coming out with a game 1 victory over the Bucks. Two major losses in that game. One, well,
Well,
actually one
the
major
the
loss.
biggest,
One,
yeah,
the biggest is Giannis getting hurt
yeah.
again on a pass and crash moment.
Hmm.
On his tailbone, you saw him walk, moving around gingerly, um, for the last few possessions, and finally they removed him for the rest of the game. Um, how significant do you think that's going to be for Milwaukee?
Extremely, because the Heat is one of those weirdo teams that whenever they get in the playoffs, all of a sudden it's like activate and they go to a different level. And I think a lot of that has to do with their coaching staff. But yeah, the Heat is one of those teams you have to be afraid of because every time they get in the playoffs, all of a sudden they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know if I don't know if folks remember, but in 2020 they went from eighth to the finals. In in last year, they beat the Milwaukee Bucks and they end up playing the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. This
Yep.
team is not to be played with. When they get in the playoffs, they are a problem. So if Giannis does not come back, this is only if he doesn't come back, the Heat will win that series. I'm sorry, folks. I've seen it too many times. The Heat will win that series if Giannis does not come back. If he comes back, I think the Bucks can give him a good fight and take him to 6 or 7 games. If I got to give a prediction with Giannis being healthy, I'm gonna say that the Bucks are gonna win in 7. If Giannis is gonna be out for more than one game this game, then I don't know.
Well,
The
let's talk prediction in this moment right now,
yeah,
because before you give it, now the Heat lost a pretty important player. Tyler Hero broke his hand
yeah.
in this game as well, so he is out for the rest of the series with two pretty significant injuries. Who would you say has the edge in this series?
I still go with the Heat.
The Heat.
Yeah.
What are we calling the Heat? How many games are
Yeah,
you
I
taking them?
mean, I'm gonna take and this is and again this is based on Giannis being not being healthy, but I'm gonna go on a limb and just say the Heat in 7.
Heat in 7.
Yeah,
I am going to take the Heat as well. Like you said, there's something about it when they get in the playoffs. This team snakes their way into
yeah, I don't know what it
the
is, man.
conference finals. However way they do it is mind blowing. I'm gonna take the Heat in 6. I'm gonna take them a game less than you. Um, Jimmy Butler's gonna have a field day. He showed it today. He just looked like nobody was gonna stay with him here.
Yeah,
And if you miss Giannis, Drew Holiday's really gonna have to really make up a lot of those points there for Milwaukee. Because in all honesty, I don't think Brook Lopez is going to give you 25 a game. I don't. Is Chris Middleton even a
yeah,
factor in this right now?
yeah. I mean,
They,
he needs to be. I think the problem is what you give up on the defensive end when Giannis is not in the game, and I think that's
yeah,
where Jimmy Butler goes crazy because you don't have a guy back there that at least puts a little bit of fear into guys trying to get to the bucket.
absolutely. Let's see here. Drunk follows up without Giannis. I got the Heat in 5. Chris Middleton hasn't been him since they won the finals, and Drunk, you absolutely right on that. He's almost been MIA since he got his ring.
Injured a
Um,
lot. I don't know
yep.
what's going on.
Uh, Christian's going Miami. No Giannis. Without Giannis, then Heat in 5. So I'm gonna put both of you
Write it
guys
down.
down for the Heat in 5 is what they're going with. The game they showed me one thing, that Hero being injured, and that's the Duncan Robinson is unplayable. Bonnie Portis will give me 30 before Holiday gives me 25.
Bonnie Portis. Dang, boy. That's rough. That's right up there with Karen Jackson.
Drunk's on fire right now.
I'm telling you. Oh, he said it was a typo. My bad. Okay, boy.
Oh,
Oh,
sure.
man, you should have just left it. You shouldn't even said nothing
Just
during
left
this
it,
thing.
man.
Oh,
Um,
man. All right, so we got our.
let's move into a series that is just going to be
Oh,
really
God.
quick.
I'll start this one off. So the Celtics are
Go ahead
playing.
and start it.
So the Celtics are playing the Hawks, and that's all you need to know. This series is
Oh my
over.
God.
I think the Celtics will sweep Maybe the Hawks win one, but I'm going to take the Celtics in 4 games. This is a no brainer.
There's not much to discuss about this series. Dude, just watching the Celtics guard the Heat was like watching a high school team guard a CYO team. Trae Young was getting swallowed up if it was Tatum or if it was Brown or even if it was
Marcus
Marcus
Smart. I
Smart.
mean, you
Just
got
they were
so
just
many defenders,
inhaling
man.
him, dude.
That's not even
Um,
fair. It's not fair. It's
no,
not fair. Those
you know,
wings are so strong. That core group of wings, there's not another team in the league that has guys that can play on both sides of the ball like that. And
no,
I just
not
think
at all.
that the Hawks don't play defense. So
It
and
was
they
clear
can't
because they got down by 30.
it was 74 to 44 at halftime. This series is over, folks. It's a wrap.
So I'm assuming you're taking the Celtics in 4.
Celtics in 4. Yes, it's a sweep.
I've got the Celtics in 4 as well. Um, dude, the Celtics have something to prove after being in the NBA Finals here, but dude, just the Hawks look so small against them right now, and we're not even talking about their who's their center for the Celtics. Robinson?
Yeah, no,
No,
not Robinson. You talking about
no,
Williams?
yeah, Williams. It's Williams is going to eat up John Collins every single game.
Well, because Collins doesn't play defense. Their whole team does not play defense. That's the problem, man. They have no shot. No shot. Let's move on to Philly. We got some comments.
Get caught up in the chat, though.
Let's get caught up. So we got
right now.
Oh my goodness. And out of the sky falls Wu-Tang. Josh, thanks for joining us. Wu-Tang Financial says do your taxes and diversify your bonds. So let us be the first to tell you to get your taxes done if you haven't done
Courtesy of Josh.
Of Wu-Tang Financial. So Drunk chimes in with no Bobby Porter's disrespect meant. He's a bitch on GA. We get it, man. Them eyes, man. He out there looking like Chris Tucker, man. He looking crazy. And then we got Christian chiming in with Celtics will rest their starters in game 4 just to get to the 5th game. Huh? And Drunk chimes in with a question, and maybe we could talk about this a little bit more later after we get through it, but the Hawks might trade Trae Young. What team needs Trae Young? There's a lot of teams that would take Trae Young in a heartbeat. There's a Clipper team that would take Trae Young right now because they love having point guards for no good reason. There's a lot of teams that would take him.
I would go with the New York Knicks.
That's another team that'll take any any free agent that's available. But yeah, that'd be a good fit, man. With the Knicks, him playing next to R.J. Barrett. Yep. Yeah, I like that.
Julius Randle. That may be a good little combination there.
I like that. Either that or he gets put in a sign-in trade with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie goes to the Hawks, and Trae goes to the Mavericks. There you go, Drunk. It's over. Write that down.
Over after that, Drunk. You let us know where you think Trae would end up headed to.
Oh man, he need to end up at a Sports Clips or a regular barbershop that could give him a proper haircut. Let's start with that. What is that on top of his head? I don't even want to comment.
Curly Joe is on top of his head, and he's balding too, which is even worse.
Yeah, he is.
Let's talk about a series that could be just a quiet sweep, but a competitive one.
Yeah.
Philly and the Brooklyn Nets.
Yes.
It's Philly handled business. I think Brooklyn looked a little inspired.
I like their team. I like their team. It's just that they don't have enough firepower to keep up with what Philly's got.
There is no answer for them when it comes to Joel Embiid, man.
None.
He could eat in this series and it'd be over.
A hamburger. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
He's gonna have that hamburger on the training table on the court.
Yeah, man. But Mikal Bridges, who was it? Cam Johnson. Those guys were playing their butts off, man, and they really had a pretty good game until they got into later in the second half, and then Philly's offense blew the doors off. Harden knocks down
Yeah.
a couple of step back threes. He had one play where he goes behind the back, through the legs, step back, and it's like, okay, all right. That's it, folks. It's
And
over.
enough. It's
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 over.
over.
It's
I'm
over.
calling I'm calling a gentleman sweep. I think the Nets get one in Brooklyn. I will go with Philly in 5.
Yeah, but I hate to sound like I'm copying, but I'm going the same because I really like Brooklyn as a team. I
Yeah.
think they will get one. They might get this game two at home. I mean, excuse me, they might get one game on at home, but Philly's going to take this in 5.
Yeah, I thought it had the potential of going 7, but now that we talked about it, it's
Nah,
gonna
man.
stay at
Nah,
5.
man. It's not going
Uh,
7.
um, let's see here. Christian chimed in, or Drunk goes Brunson and Trey Young. Not sure, but I think you got to look outside of that as well on the facilitating. He can provide R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle as well.
Right, exactly.
Um, yeah. Christian says the Thunder got the picks
Yeah.
to trade for.
Yeah, it's another team.
That wouldn't be a bad landing spot there, especially with them getting Chet Holmgren back and the way we haven't even talked about the Thunder, but the way they
The way
look,
they competed? Oh, yeah.
the way they competed for those 2 playing games, not bad, not bad at all.
Absolutely.
Drunk says if the Nets had Ben Simmons at full strength, Nets in 6. With that being said,
I don't know about that one.
is
But
Mikal Bridges on his way to being a superstar?
no,
100%.
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
think he is. I think in the right system, he can be. You know who he reminds me of a little
Who
bit?
was that?
Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, but Andrew Wiggins couldn't lead a team by himself. That's my point.
No,
I don't think Mikal
but
Bridges is that guy. I don't think
but
so.
what you got out of Andrew Wiggins last year is what everybody's expecting. In the
Yeah.
right system, I think you get a lot more out of Mikal Bridges.
All right, fair.
With that there. I'm not saying he's going to be the guy in Brooklyn. I don't think so. But in the right system with enough superstars, he develops into one.
Yeah.
Through that there. I'm not saying he could lead Brooklyn. I don't think he can, but I think under that right leadership, he could be that kind of Andrew Wiggins support that
Yeah.
that everyone was
And
anticipating.
and that's
here.
kind of what he was for Phoenix. He did a lot for that team.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a big loss for them as they continue
And
to
right
battle
now,
it out with the Clippers.
dude, it's a back and forth game now.
Yeah.
It's 96-95 Phoenix with 6:45
Yep.
remaining here. I think we have one more Eastern Conference game,
Yep.
which may be
this is the one.
second best series
Oh yeah.
behind Sacramento and Golden State, and that is the Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And
Loving
this
it.
was a very,
Good series,
very
man.
entertaining game between Donovan Mitchell and Brunson battling it out through the entire game. It was kind of similar to De'Aaron Fox and Steph Curry going at it.
Yeah.
With Brunson obviously getting the better hand here. But what did you like about that first game between those two teams, Steve?
Well, I was actually pleasantly surprised that the New York Knicks had really dug in and played some defense. They did a great job getting up and down the floor. I mean, R.J. Barrett, obviously, Randall had an okay game. Brunson really showed up and hit some pretty significant shots in that game. But they really made it so that Cleveland had to rely on Donovan to bail them out. Usually
Yeah.
used to seeing guys like Evan Mobley and other guys step up. I mean, even Josh Hart comes in and has a couple of big plays, turnovers, and steals. I mean, they looked like a much better defensive team than what I thought they were. So that's where I was most surprised. But I didn't think the Knicks were really. I don't watch the Knicks a lot, but I didn't think that their defense was on par. I felt like Cleveland had more offensive firepower with Mobley, with Mitchell, with Garner. I thought that they were gonna come in and handle business, but they didn't.
But these are two very young teams in the playoffs.
That's very true. Yes.
Between that, and the only guy with the amount of experience is Donovan Mitchell.
Great,
so
good
they
points.
are going to rely heavily. They're going to rely heavily on Donovan Mitchell, but I think Evan Mobley's got to be that guy for them. With all that length and all that talent, I don't think there's a guy on the Knicks that can hang with him. But he's going to have to find a way to get out of those playoff jitters and kind of be a little more of a contributor to Donovan Mitchell, because if they can get those two going, it's going to open up a lot. But I agree. I think it was a very well played game from from both ends here. With that, who do you like in that series?
Man, I got the Knicks in seven. Man, I think the Knicks get through. Um, I don't. I mean, I just like the way that they played overall. Man, I really liked Cleveland coming into the season. But I feel like Donovan is gonna help win them a few games on his own because that's how good he was playing in this game. But I really feel like the collective group that the Knicks put out there, with Robinson doing a great job on the boards, and even Toppin coming in and helping out, they can match up with Mobley and Jared Allen. So, or Josh. Did I get that right? Yeah, Jared Allen. Thank you. I was like thinking
Yeah,
Josh
Jared
Allen.
Allen.
So I think those two bigs
Let's
can
not put
match up,
football
right?
season's
I
over
know,
yet.
right? We got the draft coming up, but not quite yet. So yeah, I think the Knicks get it in seven. What you got, B?
I'm actually going to take Cleveland in seven.
Cleveland in seven.
I think the big factor is Donovan Mitchell and his experience there, and the fact that he's still scoring at a very high rate, carrying it through the season, and he's good for a 50-point outburst.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I think he did have one in the playoffs as well. So I gotta go with that experience there, and I think just Cleveland being hungry and finishing in the top four, I think that'll give them at least through the Knicks, but I don't see them getting further um, past the Knicks on that.
All right.
But before we go to the West, because now we covered the East, Christian Feder says superstars don't have to be leaders these days, especially with the super teams. I still
Eh,
think a superstar. Still think a superstar leadership is key to have on the team because you go as far as your superstar takes you as well. But you have to have a complimentary guy to that in the long run.
and and,
So, like,
and look
when
look no further than the Houston Rockets and the whole James Harden experiment.
yes,
I mean,
yep,
that guy was the very
yeah,
best player in the NBA for about 5 good years, but they didn't win anything.
yeah, and they didn't because he really didn't have anything next to him.
Yeah.
Chris Paul definitely was not the answer
And Chris Paul's a guy you
in
could call
Houston.
a leader, but it didn't work. So sometimes you can get away with it, but overall you want your superstar to be in some sort of leadership role. Doesn't have to be
Absolutely.
because when it comes to the Warriors have two leaders. The Warriors have Steph Curry and they have Draymond Green. Draymond's
Yep.
your fire guy. Steph's your ice guy. That's how they do it. Steph's the guy that calms down. Dre's the guy that fires up. So that's how they do that. Somebody's got to help you out. Somebody's got to lead.
That's what I need from Draymond as well. I need him to get a technical, damn it. I
I'm with
need
it.
that technical series from you, sir. If you got to punch a player, punch a player. You've already done it before. Just do it again.
You heard
In
it here
any case,
first.
we gave our two predictions in the West, so let's talk about the other two, and we'll talk about the Clippers and Suns that are in a matchup right now that we'll
Yeah, this
probably
is
catch
a heck
after
of a
this.
game.
Um, the West is loaded come playoff time. You're going to have good series all the way around, and I'll start with you, T. What would you see in this matchup, and who you got?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with you're talking about the Nuggets and Wolves.
No, we are going with the Clippers and the
Oh, we're gonna
Suns.
start with them. Okay, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna say Phoenix wins in 7 games. I think this is gonna go the whole distance. Phoenix is really trying to figure out who they are as a team through this series because they've only played together for like 7 games, so they don't really know how to play with each other. They have enough talent though with the Clippers missing Paul George. I think they have enough talent to beat the Clippers, but it's gonna be a long series.
yeah, I agree. I want to take the Clippers because I don't want to see KD,
Yeah.
but this is a toss up here.
B
With
is
that, I
watching the
mean,
game as trying to make his choice as the game's happening.
I'm
Whoa.
like that degenerate gambler who's like waiting to see the score
Right.
transfer to get a bet in. You know what? I'll stick with the Clippers here, and based off of what you said, Phoenix it picked the wrong time to try to get a team together, a super team, into the playoffs, clicking on all cylinders here. You know, can't just expect three guys to be able to find the motion like that And when KD joined the Warriors, it took the Warriors like 15 games
Yeah.
to get acclimated with everything here. You got to find a way that Devin Booker and KD are going to be able to help each other out at the same time, get their own buckets as well. You saw that a lot with him and Curry.
Yeah, exactly.
Curry got his, but he also made sure that KD got his, and vice versa for the whole team. So I'm actually going to take the Clippers. I'm going to take the Clippers in 6. I will take them a in a 6 games in 6 here.
Let's. All
So
right. Well, where are you going? We're going to go back. Let's go back to the top then. We'll start with the Nuggets and the T Wolves.
Come on, man. This is just too quick.
I mean, the Timberwolves are going to do what they've done in the past few seasons of being in the playoffs. They're going to get in the playoffs and they're going to lose. So
Hold on. They're gonna get into the play-in tournament,
right.
then lose. So they're in the play-in tournament. They're gonna lose, dude. This is the Nuggets couldn't have asked for a better team to start their series off with.
Yeah.
This may be the only clunker that the West will see come playoff time. Who you got?
I got the Nuggets. I got the Nuggets in 5.
Nuggets in 5.
Yeah, I can't.
I'll take.
I cannot see the Eiffel Tower out there trying to guard Jokic as he's standing out on the perimeter. He's gonna back him so far underneath the basket that he's gonna just go ahead and take a seat. I don't like the way the Timberwolves play. I like Conley's one of the bright spots that are there. Big Cat for me, he's too perimeter centric. He likes standing around the 3-point line, and I don't think that's gonna work against a Nuggets team that can get up and down the floor. And they have wings that can attack the rim. So Jamal Murray will have a Fields day with whoever they decide to put on him. Nuggets are going to win this.
I'm taking the Nuggets in 4. There's no way. Just what the Timberwolves have shown us, the wrong players are getting happy at the wrong time.
Oh, yeah.
Hence Anthony Edwards, who was 1 for 13
what is that guy?
against the Lakers, but continued to shoot instead of getting to the hoop. So I would take the Nuggets in 4 here. Let's get caught up. Christian helped us out. KD is superstar, not a leader, needed leaders. And that's why he went to Golden State, because he didn't have to be the leader. That was Curry's job. So he was able to be the superstar that he was and did what he did for Golden State. But once he became the man in Brooklyn, you saw something different. At this point, KD's not leading a team anymore because he's on his 4th team in the NBA.
Yeah.
Let's just put it like that. He's not the leader. I think he's maybe accepting that role as a superstar here.
Waiting for Devin Booker or Chris Paul to help him out, I guess. I don't know.
Exactly. That covers it for the playoffs. We'll see how everything goes on our end.
Yeah, we covered everybody. That was it.
You got anything off topic?
I wanted to bring up the fact that the reports are out there saying that Klay Thompson is going to be looking for another max contract. And I want to get your opinion on that as a Warriors fan. I mean, me personally, Klay is not quite the player that he once was, but he still has a lot of value around the league. He is one of the top 3-point shooters in the league. He's 6'8", so he's a solid sized wing. And I think he still has a lot of game left to play. He's not quite the defender he was prior to the injury.
No.
And I'm curious, what do you think the Warriors management mindset is going into a season where they've given Jordan Poole pretty much as much money as they could pay him, and now they have.
They're regretting that decision.
Yeah, right. Now they got Klay coming up for an extension, and he's looking to get a max. Do the Warriors make that move?
I think so. His offensive game is still there. Like no one talks about it, but he had one of his best offensive years this year.
Yeah.
He was the only reason in most games. He was the only reason why they stayed afloat in those games while Curry was out. Had Jordan Poole made a significant leap from last year to this year, where the turnovers weren't there and they weren't as bad, I think you see it. I don't think you see Klay Thompson getting a max contract because you're going to invest in Poole at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't think the Warriors have a whole lot of confidence kind of making that transition forward. In my mind, he took a step back from what he was last year. And it's the turnover thing. It's 100% the turnovers. You don't get that from Klay Thompson. And again, Klay Thompson is still a guy that can get hot real quick,
Yeah.
and I don't think the Warriors want to see that against them. I think management will keep this big three together, and that will include Draymond. That last max does have to go to Klay Thompson, though. You like you see, you can't see Draymond getting a max deal. There's no way.
Right.
You just can't see it.
Right.
Um, Christian goes, give it to him all day. He deserves it. He knows his worth, but he's not just about the money. He has the passion, and not giving it to him will just give him fuel to smoke it for and drop 60. I mean, no one wants to be a part of that, but again, it's hard to see him go to another team this late in his career and be as successful as he's been in a Golden State uniform. So I think the Warriors will give it to him, and I think Draymond takes a cut as well. That's another off-topic thing, but
Well, I mean,
and personally, I just
somebody's got to take a cut. You can't play. I don't know. I don't know if you can pay both of them max money, especially given with the new CBA agreement where you're not going to have a mid-level exception. Like they're going to take away your mid-level exception now. You're going to have a lot less flexibility once you're over the cap, and the Warriors are consistently over the cap. So I think the Warriors have to depend on these young guys to step up if they're going to keep paying the old guys. I mean, it's just how it's going to be, unless they decide to flip one of their players, like you were talking about. You take a Jordan Poole, you trade him to another team in hopes of bringing back another player that's going to give you a spark. So we'll see, man. I think this season will tell a lot.
absolutely here, but what a good weekend to start the playoffs with, dude. My God.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't have asked for a better weekend of basketball.
Yeah, man. I was sick, so it was great. Sitting down.
I'm saying, like last night's game between the Sacramento Kings and the Warriors was probably the best way to end a night of basketball. Because man, it was a buzz. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it. Now the Clippers are pulling away late. I know that's not what you want to hear, but the Clippers are pulling away late. Hey, if everything kind of pans out right, you could have a Clippers-Lakers Western Conference Finals in one area.
All in LA, right? All in LA.
Oh boy, LA would burn to the ground, which I wouldn't mind.
Well, and the Clips aren't an easy out, man. I mean, with Kawhi playing every single game now, and the fact that they've got 3-point shooters all over the court, they're a difficult team
and
to play.
Kawhi just nailed a big three.
No, that was a Kawhi. Wait, who was that? That was your boy.
What?
No, former Clipper that left and came back. Eric Gordon knocked down that three.
Well, it's a 3-point game, but in any case, hey, thanks to everyone who tuned in tonight. We appreciate the love, like always. Got another 2 subscribers, so thank you guys. We can't do it without you guys, so put the word out there. We're growing slowly but surely here. We're moving pretty fast for this show. So thanks to Christian, thanks to Drunk, thanks to JJ. Who else did we missing anyone else? Josh, thanks for tuning in and telling everyone to do your taxes and to diversify your bonds.
Diversify your bonds.
But yeah. Everyone, thank you so much. It means the world to T and I.
For sure.
Plenty more excitement to come, and like we said, if you haven't done it already, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications, so when we go live or we post a really funny video. That could happen to us
at any time. You never know.
At any time.
Well, all right, folks. Well, thanks again. As B said, y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Get you something to eat if you're not already eating, and we're going to finish watching this game. Oh, wait. Isn't there another game on tonight?
There's another. We still got the knockout between the Nuggets and the Wolves. Love it.
Let's do it. All right, y'all. Y'all enjoy. Have a good night. Peace.
Have a good night, everyone. Late.